Happy Friday to you, sports fan. Glad you could join. I'm Adam Diehl. This is the Proview Rundown right in the Proview Network studios. We got the crew in the zoo. What's up, guys? Looking sharp, always looking sharp. We've got Eldorado and La Cueva from last night, game that we really need to break down. We also have some breaking news from last night as a quarterback may be playing soon for a certain team. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit, but first, let's sift over to District 1 and some volleyball, a monster game at Volcano Vista. Two undefeated teams in District, Rio Rancho and Volcano, going at it.
Brewer, the freshman, yes, into the back row. On her serve here. Hakami to Justice Davis. Through the block, opening set to the Hawks. That's the lefty back down the front row. One's hit over by Hudson. The set from the lefty. Casamadas couldn't put it away. Wandra. Into the back corner, yes! Hakami sets Dixon out of the back row. Why not? She's been on fire in the second set. Here we go, set point for Lopez. Brewer. To Davis. Brewer, it's going wide, and the Hawks take the second set. Identical score. 7-6 leads trim to 1. Wandra sets Barber again. Lopez. Hakami just tips it over. Wandra to Barber. It's blocked, but Barber gets it back. Lopez. Hakami will set to Lopez. Thought they were trying to set Dixon out of the back row. They'll go for the slide again, and it's dug out by Lopez. Hakami over to Anders. Into the back row. Brewer digs it out. Wandra. She'll set this time Mosley, and it falls. Mattis. Wandra to Barber. Medina, really tough angle at the near antenna for Anders. Here's Brewer through the deflection. Hakami pushes it over to Dixon, big swing. Another one, yes, on the second effort, Dixon puts it away. On Haley Wandra's serve now. Hakami sets Davis for the match. Did it deflect? Yes, it did. There was a deflection, and the Rams sweep it in straight sets. 25-20 in this third one, 25-22 in the opening two. We'll be right back.
I was just asking for the ball, just composure as a team, I think. That was basically it.
Talking about how you guys are rolling right now in district.
Pretty good, obviously. We're just playing really well as a team right now, coming together after every play. Stuff like that, positive energy.
All right, we'll let you go celebrate.
Volcano Vista roll on this one. That's a big win for Don Tabaka and the Hawks as they've taken over District 1 now. On the other end, Cleveland, they get their first district win against the Driscoll Heritage. So that's how that district lying out right now. Now, we shift gears to football and some breaking news yesterday. Talk with Charlie Dotson before the Eldorado Eagles take on the La Cueva Bears, and everybody understands that Gabe Smith had a broken collarbone. Well, at least that's what the story is, because guess what? Gabe Smith was throwing the football in full uniform. Did not play against La Cueva, but he was throwing the football and looked pretty good. Now, if you got a broken collarbone 3 weeks later and this guy right here is chucking the ball around, I don't know about that, but it looks like he's going to be back sooner rather than later. That's really good news. The projection is potentially against maybe we think Sandia, though who knows? He might be able to play against Clovis this next week at Clovis, so that'll be big for Eldorado. They had a monster game against their rival last night. We've got those highlights and the breakdown in just a moment. Are we going to take it right now? Okay, we're not going to go to break. We're going to take those highlights right now. Well, let's just go to it. Wilson Stadium last night.
Yards.
Well, there's the Eldorado faithful, and they'll unleash
powdered paint.
all the powder. 1st and 10. Handoff is to West, and he's got all the room in the world. And they made it look easy. And Royson right next to him. And Summers going to throw it out of the backfield. Is that a live ball? Going to kick it a 35-yard field goal for Dickerman, and it's close. a big man, yes! Eldorado. Petty's looking, fires a fade, towards the end zone, and they're gonna punt it actually, and it got blocked. Oh, but it was tipped by a La Cueva man. Diehl to play in the half, and it's 4th down. Play action, Summers gonna set up a screen, he's looking for Williams, and he's got all the speed in the world. DeAndre Williams down the sideline, touchdown.
There's your screen.
It's intercepted. It's picked off by Milford. He takes a cut, and he's off to the races. Goodbye, Kendrick Milford. Touchdown.
Wow, 14. That's why La Cueva called timeout, I guess.
This one will be in that same area. And look at this. It's blocked. A punt, and they're going to go out of bounds. It's going to be a safety. So, Tom, on 3rd down, they try to surprise punt because they know they're not going to pick. High snap, handled, and Camacho puts it straight through. So we're tied up. Would you want it?
I have to run.
Got to run. Big toss from Summer. He's going deep, and Oz Robertson says hello and goodbye. Williams in the backfield. He's going to get it. Williams makes a move. Look out. Williams shot out of a cannon. Touchdown.
Robert Eldorado, you know.
Look at this. Dylan Summers going to throw it. He's going to go to Robertson. Well, all right. So Eldorado lose it 40-19. If you're paying attention, that game was 19-19 with a little over 5 minutes to go. La Cueva scored 3 straight touchdowns. I got to bring my boy in, Alden Iowani. He was Mr. Everything last night. Graphics, replay, directing. I'll tell you what, man. This score does not reflect this game.
Yeah, Adam, it really doesn't. But first off, I want to give a big shout out to everybody on the crew last night. Josh Luna, Jude Apodaca, yourself, and Tom killed it last night. But yeah, this game it was kind of crazy. I'd say for 3/4 of the game, Eldorado looked like they were going to win this thing for sure. And then La Cueva they just put it on them in the 3rd quarter, or I mean in the 4th quarter.
Hold on, Josh. Can you please stop rubbing your beard? I mean, can that stop? Is that going to continue?
Here. I'm thinking about my
It's very distracting. I mean, geez. Continue. I'm so sorry, Alden.
Pay attention. You're hosting a show right now. Eyes off me. Get in the game.
All right. No. Okay. So, I mean, that game's 19-19. And, I mean, then La Cueva took over and won it. Now, here's the controversy that's going to be talked about. Was it rubbing it in their face? 6 seconds left. They're up by 14, La Cueva. They got the ball. They just got a penalty. It's 2nd and goal from the 7 with 6 seconds left, and they throw a fade into the end zone for a touchdown to add a score. Fair? Not fair. How about we just do a little bit of hype or not hype? Are you hype on it or not hype with it? Oh.
Yeah, I'd say, oh man, it's hard to say. Like if I was on La Cueva, I'd be hyped. Like I'd be like, yeah, let's like kick their teeth in. But Eldorado, I think the scar's gonna be a lot bigger on that one than they thought. Like, I mean, they're already up. Dylan Summer too. That play, like. He is not that athletic. Like, he could have easily scored. But I think that Charlie Dotson and them took that personally. And I think Eldorado took it personally. And I think it's going to end up hurting La Cueva in the end. I think sometime if they meet in the playoffs, this is just another thing that'll be like, hey, guys, remember when they scored on us with 6 seconds left, you know? So
I'm up and down on this one. Okay, so I think we're living in a generation that's a little bit softer, and everyone gets their feelings hurt, and you know it's a football game. So you know if you've got a problem with it, stop them. I also at the same time I think it's a little bit ridiculous for Brandon Back and company. Would take a knee is almost more of a slap you in the face. We just beat you. We could score again. We're taking a knee. And so I think you're right. I think when Gabe Smith comes back, because it looks like he's coming back, just mark that down. Gabe Smith is returning this year, which I love. I think that's awesome. Eldorado plays the Cueva again. Alden, if Gabe Smith played in this game, Eldorado wins by 3 scores. Am I right?
No, yeah, you're 100% right on that, Adam. And what's crazy too is there are 2 losses on the year. If Eldorado played their best and throughout all those games and had Smith, they'd be undefeated right now. I mean, they could have beaten Cleveland in that game that they played earlier in the season. Kind of got away from them at the end, kind of like this game. But, if I'm Eldorado, I'm super confident. We played the best 2 teams in 6A. We didn't finish the way we wanted to, but it's stuff that you can correct and change.
I'm with you, and it looks like Gabe Smith is coming back. I hope he does, just for the sake of him and saving a senior season, being able to come back because he's been so electrifying. I want to know, Jason and Josh, what do you guys think? Do you kneel it? Do you rub it in their face? Which is it?
Now they got bad blood. I don't know, man. Charlie Dotson, Brandon Beck. I mean,
who would have known we had Taylor Swift coming on?
Yeah, they know each other. That one's gonna stick in Charlie Dotson's mind. I mean,
do you do it or not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm old school. I mean, stop them, you got to stop them. But it's a rivalry game. Tackling fuel, right there. You have to stop the offense if you're the defense, whether it's 6 seconds in the fourth quarter or 12 minutes at the start of a quarter. You got to stop them.
Okay.
From the highlights, what I saw, I mean, La Cueva played a solid game, which they always do. Williams just running amok all around, but like you said, I mean, if Gabe Smith was in the game, that's a whole different ball game.
Do you kneel it?
I think that's the name of the game these days. Respect. I mean, take a knee. But either way, it's a diss, I feel. You take a knee, it's a diss. You score another point, it's a diss.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But now Eldorado is going to hold this as a grudge, right? Eldorado, if they meet up again, Eldorado is going to remember this. And the next time they meet up, potentially there's a Gabe Smith back there. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then also too, if Williams could play a whole game for him, I think it might be, if I'm Brandon Beck, it might be time to start thinking about having a 2-quarterback system. I said this last week on the show. The offense just looked way more electric when the backup was in when I saw them play.
And everyone's going to say, but Alden, they put up 40 points. That does not tell the story of how the game did. I mean, they had 19 points with 5 minutes to go. And Eldorado, by the way, who let Dorian Lewis run 384 yards on them, they were shutting down DeAndre Williams until Williams broke at the very end, broke the long run. That's the only run that he had that was big. He also had a 4th down swing pass, but not the normal night of DeAndre Williams. I'm with you. Eldorado should not be down, especially if Gabe Smith is returning. Now, where do we look at La Cueva? That's my question. Is La Cueva keeps kind of slipping by, but they're winning. And they're 8-0, and they're going on a bye week, and they're 2-0 in district, and they keep winning.
Hey, as being a Denver Bronco fan, I love the way they win. I mean, you can question all the stuff that they do during the game, but if they get that W in the W column, then I mean, there's what can you do? I think that they're a state championship team from last year. So I think one of the things about great teams is they know how to win when they play bad. And La Cueva's been able to do that so far, but it's a double-edged sword, Adam, because sometimes when you rely on that style of play, it'll come back and bite you when you need it the most.
All right, Crew in the Zoo, we're going to check back with them next segment as we've got bracketology, top 10 poll. We're going to go over where we think the 6A bracket looks like. And then we're going to go over our big matchups and then our pick'ems as well. So a lot to cover here on the rundown. We're having some fun. It's a Friday. Here is the Dreamstyle Top 10 Plays of the Week.
left, throwing the fade right the end zone. Caught, let's see if he's in bounds. Touchdown. Huskies down at 10. Back in the gun, looks over the defense. Drop in and look at great protection again. Throws it out, man's wide open on the left side. That is Cosper. Cosper to the end zone. Touchdown, home Huskies. The Volcano Vista 21. And first down and more. Into the around right end. Ruiz breaks the tackle, diving for the end zone. Touchdown. Turns it up the middle, inside the 5. Touchdown. Home Huskies. 22.
Oh, I think he doesn't want me on a show because he won't ask the hard questions.
Breaking a tackle to the outside, still going, and all the way.
Mesa front line.
Power line formation again. Good ball up the middle. Could be gone. 30, 35, 41 man to beat. Midfield, 40. Going to score on a 80-yard touchdown run. Wade blocking, and that's a touchdown.
Third and 4. Harris gonna quarterback keep, and he's got some room on the outside, cutting back across the 20, and look out, Malik Phillips says hello.
Ball is picked up by one of the reverse on the opening kickoff, spinning and trying to gain some move down the left sideline. He's got an open field. He may go all the way on the opening kickoff. It's going to be a touchdown for number 10, Ivan Rodriguez.
Albuquerque Computer and Electronics Recycling. It's Albuquerque's only company that's independently certified to receive and process all sorts of consumer electronics and business IT assets like computers, laptops, and cell phones. They've been around for 10 years. All the important and sensitive private information is wiped clean to DoD standards, and all materials processed in the most environment-friendly way possible. Give them a call, 505-249-9495. Recycle your end-of-life electronics today.
Brian Cologne will make a great auditor.
Brian grew up pretty poor, so as auditor, protecting our tax dollars will be important to him.
Brian is the only candidate with a background in finance and law.
So he has what it takes to fight waste, fraud, and abuse as auditor.
Brian invests in New Mexico by mentoring hundreds of young people.
Brian will invest in education and expand opportunities for future generations.
So how do we know, as auditor, Brian Cologne will invest in New Mexico? Because he's invested in all of us.
Thanks, Brian!
Brian Cologne, Democrat for auditor.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
I'm Troy LaFane, head coach of the USL New Mexico franchise, and you're watching Proview Sports.
Back to action here on the rundown. This is the winner's sombrero. That's what winners do. They wear this sombrero, and losers wear this sombrero. That one. So, did we have some winning and losing last night, guys?
Hey, for the record, this is a risk-taker sombrero. So
is that Steve Davis that just made his way on the rundown?
Give a little cameo there.
He did.
We've got a pretty big fight next week. It is Aztec Warfare 2. Brought to you by Legacy Boxing Promotions. You'll catch it on YouTube next Saturday on Proview YouTube. Following week, watch for the replays.
That's a pretty good
big
plug.
fights.
I couldn't even pull that off last night.
Yeah.
Let's go to our picks. What do we got? Okay. So last night, everyone went Albuquerque High. Did Albuquerque High win?
I don't know. Let's.
Isn't that something we should know
We
as
should
a
probably know
sports
this.
updating show? Okay, Josh is going to research that. I do know that Eldorado lost, and that looks like Josh Brown and Jason took another step back.
You know, that was such a hard game to pick.
It was.
Definitely was. From the last we heard, I'm pretty sure Albuquerque High was winning the last time.
Yeah, I think they were up 18 to 16 to 13.
Yeah, something like that. But
maybe Steve knows. Steve, do you know who won between Albuquerque High School and Highland? We're live, by the way. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Well, before Josh figures this out, we'll go on to, there's a lot of us agreed on the same games this week. I'm noticing all valleys, all volcanoes, all Roswells. A lot of us picked the same exact Cleveland in the sweep. So I think our minds are made on a lot of those games.
Manzano Josh differs with Manzano against Clovis, which makes Steve Davis happy because that's almost a kiss of death for Manzano. And then Mayfield and Centennial, myself and Josh went Mayfield, which I'm really regretting now that I see that. So you're right.
That one's a tough one, though. Mayfield's been playing better, from the beginning of the season. But I'd say Centennial's still rolling, so you got to go with Centennial. But
now, Bernalillo, by the way, has a lot of players suspended because of a fight that broke out right against Espanola Valley. So that's interesting as we kind of all went St. Pius and big shocker, Josh went.
I know Sebastian does PA for West Mesa, but, West Mesa over Rio Rancho?
That would be a shocker.
That's bold. That's bold. He's trying to go for the win on that pick.
Let's take a look at our overall standings, J-Pole, if we can. And that was last week. That's why I have this beautiful sombrero. Sebastian never makes his way to the studio, so, if he wanted to wear it, he could. But got to make your way over here, buddy. And then our
it's a tight race at the end, Adam. That's what you want. You want it close because, let's be honest. The last 2 years have just blown everybody out of the water. So it's really nice to actually have some competition this year,
All right. Okay. It's going to be tight.
How would a graphic look with you on there with the sombrero?
It would be a better looking graphic. That's pretty.
Touche.
Pretty much it. We're going to get you that Albuquerque High School Highland score when we return here. I will not be wearing this sombrero anymore. And when we come back, we're going to go over our bracketology, top 10 poll, and preview our matchups tonight here on Proview Networks.
Filling Phillies. It's the best in town. It's Filling Phillies. We use quality meats and fresh Almarosa rolls directly from Philly, where every sandwich is a work of art. You can order online or dine in. Come visit us today at all 3 locations, Uptown, the West Side, or our brand new location in downtown Albuquerque on 301 Central.
Gary Johnson has a record of independence and success. In his 8 years as New Mexico governor, our state flourished. Now politicians of both parties in D.C. are spending us into bankruptcy. As a successful businessman and governor, Gary Johnson knows how to create jobs and keep government under control. Gary Johnson's only loyalty is to you. Send a historic message to Washington by voting for an independent voice. Vote for Gary Johnson for U.S. Senate.
This is Coach Borrego of the Charlotte Hornets. Hello to all you parents out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to congratulate 38 years for the AYBL. You guys are doing a great job. You've shaped a lot of lives, young men and women, and you'll continue to do that. Parents, get involved, sign your kid up. It's a great program. It helped shape who I am today, helped shape me as a basketball player, as a coach. So get out there, sign them up. Have a great season. Good luck to everybody.
Hi, my name is Sam Lang and I'm with ABQ IT. Do you have a student in need of a laptop, desktop, or cell phone? We have computers that will meet anyone's budget. Please call 505-582-6583. Every purchase made, 10% will go towards your school. At ABQIT, we make it happen.
Gary Johnson has a record of independence and success. In his 8 years as New Mexico governor, our state flourished, and he left with a surplus. Gary Johnson did exactly what he promised: cut taxes, reduced the size of state government, and held legislature responsible for reckless spending. Now, politicians of both parties in D.C. are spending us into bankruptcy. They can't stop their addiction to spending, and they don't know how to create jobs. As a successful businessman and governor, Gary Johnson knows how to create jobs and keep government under control. You won't have to ask where Gary Johnson's loyalties lie. It won't be to a party. It won't be to the D.C. swamp. Gary Johnson's only loyalty is to you. His only goal is to help New Mexico. Send a historic message to Washington by voting for an independent voice. Vote for Gary Johnson for U.S. Senate. Protect Freedom PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Also Hard University.
It's time for Hype or Not Hype with Alden Iowani. He is the star of this one. All right, Ball So Hard. I guess I didn't know we were doing the full segment, which I'm happy we are, but we kind of did a little Hype or Not Hype earlier. You gave us a tease with the La Cueva Eldorado. So let's see. Are you hype or not hype with Clovis Wildcats tonight against Manzano?
I am definitely hype. I want to see how Clovis does this week. They had some really good athletes last week. I just want to see what they do against Manzano compared to Sandia. So yeah, I'm definitely hype. Like Ivy Sod, as always, he always gives them a puncher's chance to win the game.
Okay, are you hype or not hype with Gabe Smith returning before the playoffs start for Eldorado?
You know, I would like to be hype on him coming back before, but you don't want to get him injured in a game that's meaningless. But at the same time, you do need I do think that you need a warm up before you just go back into the games, especially the playoffs, Adam. I just think that he needs the most reps he can get, so I think he should come back.
All right. You hype or not hype on your Cibola Cougars getting their first district win and the biggest upset in the state as they take on Cleveland tonight on Proview Sports Network?
I'm going to say I'm not hype on that. I like my Cougars. They have definitely progressed leaps and bounds from where they've been, but the Cleveland Storm are just too good right now. Without Dorian Lewis, crushed Atrisco. So I think that Cleveland, even if Dorian doesn't have his best game, can win pretty easily against the Cougars. But good luck, Cougars.
Rio Rancho get the win against Cibola. Looks like their offense is starting to figure it out. Are you hype or not hype on Rio Rancho figuring it out and getting a new start to their season?
This one's hard. I'm going to say not hype just because I feel like they put themselves down a little too early in the season. If they could have won one or two more games in the beginning of the season. I mean, they got Volcano still. They got Volcano. They got Cleveland. I mean, their district isn't no slouch.
Okay. What are you trying to do, Josh?
Me and Alden did a pretty sweet high five the other day. I was hoping to high five him again. You know.
That didn't work out.
It wasn't very good.
The beauties of live
Jason,
television.
do we have any more time?
We got 15 seconds.
Okay. Do you guys want to ask him one last question? I promise bracketology. Throw it up real quick.
Alden,
right,
are you hype on
Adam
Adam Diehl's bracketology? I mean, did Adam Diehl get this right, Alden? Are you hype on Adam Diehl's bracketology?
I'm going to say yes, except that my Cougars didn't find a place on there, but there's always some technicality glitch, you know, to slip Rio Rancho in there. So I understand. He's salty because I owe him a Dr. Pepper still. So
I want that after this show. That's it. Join us tonight, My50 Game of the Week. Clovis, Manzano, the crew, and the zoo getting it done. We'll see you.